What's up there, Misfits? Welcome back to Pages of Ascension. My name is Tia. This is going to be an unboxing video or a flip through video, flip through video of the Liminal Spirits Oracle by Laura Tempest Zarkov. But I'm not actually just going to be talking about the deck. I'm actually going to be talking about her book as well, because I discovered her book first before I even knew that this deck existed. Okay. And you know, the way spirit works, that was definitely no accident. So just to talk about a little bit of the book, she goes through her experience, learning to come into her own power, you know, not just as a woman, but as a witch on top of that. And she does make disclaimers in the beginning, you know, that you don't have to just be a woman to listen to her book or to read her book. But she's speaking from her own lens, which I really appreciated the fact that she did that. She also incorporates and talks about, which is beyond just your traditional European base point. Now, again, she says that she's speaking from her lens, so that is a larger part of the book, but she does talk some about, you know, African spirituality and South American spirituality, and she goes through just the different cultures that this term witch can encompass. And it's interesting because, like, and I have to admit it to you guys, I've always kind of been a little put off by the term witch. It was something that I never really wanted to own, even as I was coming into my own powers, even if as I was you know, exploring the terminology, exploring what different pantheons like stuck out to me. And that the book changed my fucking life, like straight up. Like the viewpoint that I have of just the term now, and how your gifts come through and how to recognize them, how to know when, you know, what initiation is, when you're being initiated by spirit. Like literally, it was probably one of the most life-changing books I think I've ever read, as far as regards to spirituality and coming into your own spirituality and owning your power within that. So she actually made a deck that goes so well. The deck makes a lot more sense having read the book first. Let me put it that way. Like I said, I didn't know that this deck existed until I think I read that book like 2 months ago, and technically I listened to it. I was at the day job, or the current day job anyway, and listening to the book because I drive, and it's like, you know, I can't listen to the radio because they repeat the same things, and I'm going nuts not having anything to listen to, so I figure, you know, why not try to get this like 52 books in a year thing off my list, right? So hers was one of the books that I read, and I just found her speaking so poignantly about her journey and everything that she's went through. I laughed, I cried. I mean, amazing, amazing, amazing book. Even if this is not a deck that you identify with, if you are someone who considers yourself a practitioner, if you consider yourself a light worker, if you consider yourself an energy worker, read this book. Read the book. It's called Enter the Liminal Spaces, I believe. I'll actually link it to Amazon down below in the description. Okay, so this is actually just a review. Well, it's a review of the deck, so I'm going to get into that now. It comes in a really nice sturdy box. It's got that the magnetic closure. She also gives us this little ribbon here so we can easily pop out the deck, which makes me really happy because of course I dig in and totally destroy the cards otherwise. She's got a nice little bee, nice little picture here, which is one of the, I want to say that that's one of the insects that she talks about in her book. But yeah, in any case, oh, it's called Weave The Liminal. That's the name of her book. So this is a book that, let's see here, not a book, but a deck that It's got 42 cards. The guidebook is completely in color, which is also really beautiful, and it offers some notes I'll show you here in just a moment. But I find that this deck is particularly good for when you're receiving synchronicities and you're trying to determine where those synchronicities fit within the larger picture of whatever questions that you have or whatever guidance that you're looking for. It's a really nice complement to that, especially when you're coming into your gifts. Because it's like, when you're doing that, you develop this language with your guides and with spirit. And so spirit, the way spirit will speak to you is not the same way that spirit will speak to someone else. Okay. So it's like, as you're developing your own language, this is a deck that I feel like, especially for those of you that are new or just coming into your own powers, this would be a really helpful deck for you. I actually wish I had had something like this when I was first starting. To really open up and embrace my gifts, my spiritual gifts. Things might have been a little less confusing. Put it that way. So here is the back side of the deck. I love this. We've got the incorporation of the eye in here, and also the incorporation of kind of the infinity thing going on, which are two things that I am always really drawn to symbolically. So here's the book, and let's see here. She does talk about, and you can find like other books that she's written on the first page. She's also done some coloring books and done an instructional DVD, it looks like. And let's see here. Looks like she's very active with Llewellyn. So like if you're looking for like within the Spell a Day Almanac, for example, in 2019, she did some parts of that. And then this is her. And I totally love her earrings. I just got distracted by that. So you get to learn a little bit about her. Okay. And she talks about working with the deck and the groups, what they mean. She gives you a couple of spreads as well. And actually goes into how to use this particular oracle deck as a means to build your life, build your practice. Okay. So, and actually she gives some other recommended resources for study at the end of the book. So I'm not going to go too much into that. So yeah, she talks about working with the deck and describes the groups, the outliers, the rights, the places, trees, herbs, scale, slither, swim, wings, fur fauna, artifacts. Okay. Talks about having to use them to commune with spirit and with your guides. And again, I'm not going to go into that. If you want to read all of that, which I have read it, she's freaking brilliant. I would actually suggest getting this deck. Okay. It's beautiful. So, as you can see, the deck is color. Okay. And here's the part I was talking about. She actually leaves a space for notes. So that's something that I'll often tell new readers is like when you're working with, like, even if you're an established reader, but you're working with a new tarot deck or a new system, to take notes on what you're getting and when you get them the first time. I personally like to date mine because, you know, as is with life, different things are going on in different parts in our life. So when I pull that card, especially if it's a card I've pulled for the first time, it's a nice little reminder, okay, that's what was going on then. And, you know, hindsight's 20/20. So there's a lot that you can learn by looking back in order to look forward. Okay, don't live in the past, but definitely look back to learn. Make sure that you've learned the lessons that you need to. In any case, so she does offer an area for notes, and it's like that throughout the entire book. There's a lot of thought and a lot of effort put into this book, the accompanying book for this. So That is the book. It is bound, hardbound. Very sturdy, very stable. I really like the cardstock on these as well. They're stiff, but not too stiff. They are a little on the larger side, so for someone with smaller hands, I would suggest doing the side shuffle, as I like to call it. So I tend to like to shuffle this way. I'm not going to do that right now because I want to flip through the cards first. Okay, so these are not in order, because I've already cleansed and consecrated and prayed over these and done my priming. But I did want to still flip through this particular deck, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. But I wanted to kind of get acquainted with this deck first and see, you know, why the book came to me and why the cards came to me. And based on the way things are going in my life at this point in time, doing this summer of 2020, so August of 2020, I understand why. Okay, so in any case, we're going to go ahead and flip through the cards. And here we go. I'm trying not to make that noise. It's me rubbing up against the table. Okay. So what I typically like to do in my videos for unboxing is I will shuffle them on camera. Like I said, I like to do the side shuffle, especially when they're a little bit bigger like this. And then I'm actually going to pull a card from the deck and read the full description of that from the book, just to give you an idea of like the pentameter, I guess, if you will, how it's written, different cues that might be in there, so on and so forth, okay? Let's do one more this way. All right. And let's see, can I get one card, please? And you give me 50. We'll take this one. So forest. Excuse me. So I have not actually marked the book yet. So there isn't any specific order. Hold on, it's in places. Yeah. So 45. So it isn't in any specific order. Excuse me. And I know that there's some people out there who can get very frustrated with the fact that it's not all in a certain like alphabetical order or whatnot. It's the way that she has it grouped. Okay, and that's going to help you to learn the deck. But if it helps you, I always say put those little tabbies in the book to label it. So like, for example, forest is in the group of places, and that's like one of the first groups, right? So I would mark places and then birds and so on and so forth in order to find things in this book. Okay, which I eventually will do before I start using them on camera, and I will be using these in some upcoming readings, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell so that you can check them out in action. Okay, so forest, let me go ahead and read this for you. So it says, many people mistake forests as being quiet places, but from its fertile floor to the highest branches, the forest is a community constantly in motion. The multitude of beings feed into a greater collective consciousness. Entering the forest requires being respectful of the world you enter while keeping your wits about you, lest you be led astray and quickly lose your way. So the messages for this is that things may seem ordinary, but there are mystical forces afoot. Don't dismiss or try to explain things away just because you don't fully understand them. There will be a revelation soon. Okay? It also says, light in the forest is often strange, blurring the line between day and night. Is it dusk or is it dawn? Your internal clock may be confused, but if you pay close attention to the denizens of the forest, you'll be clued in. Remember that you are part of a community. It is not a sign of weakness to ask for help, but rather a sign of strength. All right, you guys. So again, like I said, check out her book. Like literally, I cannot, I cannot gush about this book enough. It's called, oh my gosh, I just forgot again. Weave the Liminal. Okay, so please check out her book, Weave the Liminal. Like, it's not often, actually, I can only think of maybe a handful of books in my life that I've read or listened to that quite literally changed my viewpoint, changed my life, and this was absolutely one of them, especially in regards to me doing, you know, this work, doing tarot, you know, working with people, helping them to work on their spiritual growth, working on my own spiritual growth, going through shadow work, going through the dark night of the soul, you know, and really just walking into this path and coming into this path. I literally feel like I almost took like a college course on what I went through listening to her book. Like, that is how much information is packed in there, and it's told in such a way that anybody can identify. with it. Okay, so again, that was the flip through for Gateway to the Liminal Spirits by Laura Tempest Zarkov. Again, I cannot stress it enough. Make sure you check out her book, Weave The Liminal. It's by Llewellyn. It was published in 2019, and it is fucking awesome. Okay, so with that, we're gonna call it here. Do you have this deck? Have you purchased this deck? Do you work with it now? Let me know down in the comments what you think. Okay. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, because there's definitely more where that came from. Okay, so thanks for joining me. Remember, your peace is your power, and I'll check you later. Bye.